Hi there, we're going to use the Good Tidings set, which just came out in the holiday catalog from Stampin' Up. This is a multi-stamping or a two-step stamping, and we're going to make this card. Now when I tip this card, you'll be able to see that I actually stamped this on glossy cardstock, which is really difficult to do with these stamps. But hopefully with the MISTI, we can do it, and it should work out very well. I would encourage you to practice setting this up on regular cardstock first. As you'll see, I have tons of magnets because the polymer stamps will pick up that glossy cardstock and it won't be where you want it the next time you want it there. So the first time I'm going to stamp the 1A leaves, which is the full leaves, and I'm going to stamp that in Old Olive. The nice thing about the MISTI is it puts it right straight down, and you'll notice that on glossy cardstock you can actually see the ink move around, and you can press it down and see it move around in there. And since it's not going to move when you lift it with all those magnets in there, it should not move. Now I'm going to take these magnets out because you have to hold a lot of magnets in there, and I have another piece of paper on the other side because my other stamp is over on the other side, which is 1B. So I'm going to take this and turn it around. Make sure it's dry. Once you stick it in the MISTI, again, position your stamps right around where that stamp's going to stamp and hold that cardstock down. Now I'm using Garden Green, and 1B is going to be stamped in Garden Green. You don't get the smudges when you use the MISTI like you do if you move your acrylic blocks when you stamp. This is a hard set to line up, and it's not really a beginner set, but if you're not real fussy about it, you don't have to worry. Now there's a way to get this lined up. These berries did not line up good, so I put 2 magnets down on my cardstock. To line it up, I put a piece of acrylic, just a overhead or whatever you've got, to line up the berries first. Because what was happening is the berries is a small stamp, and it stuck to the cardstock rather than the lid of the stamp positioner. So once I had it lined up, then I put lots of magnets in again. Once you have it inked, it doesn't stick as badly as when it's uninked, as you'll find out. So I stamped the first set of berries, which is 1C in real red. And then in this case I just slid this over to the other side. I already lined this side up over here with the acrylic, piece of clear acrylic so I could see through it. Puts lots of magnets down again. I'm just going to put a piece of scrap paper on the other side so that I don't get ink all over my black foam pad in there. And I'm going to ink this side over here with the second color, which is Cherry Cobbler. Now the stem on here has 2 parts. There's a first part and a second part. I didn't even use the second part on this card because all it does is put these little black dots in here and things up in the berries, and you can do that with a marker if you want. It's harder to line up. So I used the first one, and there's a long part of the stem down at the bottom. So that long part of that stem goes down at the bottom of the berries, and there's a little, right under my finger, there's a little curved piece that fits right into the berries. I stamped this in soft suede ink. Now, I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to take the verse, and again, I'm just going to put this on a acrylic block, and if you get it dirty, I have dogs, so I always have hairs, so when I'm going to emboss with one of these photopolymers, I take one of these lint rollers that's like masking tape, and I roll it across the stamp, and it picks up glitter, it picks up hair and everything on it so that my stamp is nice and clean. I'm going to take the embossing buddy in the bottom right hand corner of this black cardstock, basic black, rub it really good, and then I'm going to use the Versamark, and I'm going to put that on here, and I'm going to stamp it down in the bottom right hand corner, put white embossing powder on it, and wash it off. Now I'm going to use Simon Says Stamp border dies, which are twisted stitch borders. There's 2 of them in this set, and I'm going to use this one that kind of has the ovally shapes there. And I'm going to position this across the glossy cardstock, right like this. And it's always a good idea to take a little bit of washi tape and tape it down on your ends with washi tape. I have my magnetic platform in my Big Shot, and what happens is it just jumps. So notice I'm putting the tape down on the bottom half, on the die, and on the bottom half of the cardstock, letting it overlap there, because that's the part that I'm going to throw away. Once you have it run through the die cutter, it's all ready to go. We're ready to put the card together. So I'm going to fold the card base. Now this is 8.5 by 5.5, and I'm going to just fold it in half. It's a white cardstock. And I put foam on the back of my black piece, a large piece of foam to pop it up off of the card base. And I'm just going to position this right up in the corner just like that. So once you know it fits nicely, affix it right into the corner with whatever adhesive you like to use. And if you have any black that's showing around the edges, you can take your scissors and trim them off. Just very lightly. I didn't leave any black up there. You might like to leave a little black, but that's up to you. And now I'm just going to put it on the back. I like to use, on this foam, I like to use the score tape, which is 1/4 of an inch wide, or the really double sticky tape that you peel off. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put that down both sides. And then I'm going to put this centered right on the card. And that's that card. So, thanks for watching.